No deal is quite done until the ink hits the paper. We learned that on Tuesday as Randy Gregory, the star pass rusher, pulled a little switcheroo. He's now reportedly heading to the Denver Broncos, signing a 5-year deal. Hello, I'm Phil Milani alongside Aric DiLalla. Aric, George Paton and company, keeping you on your toes.
That's right, Phil. Well, we knew going into this offseason, pass rusher was going to be a big priority for the Broncos, and so no surprise to see the Broncos reportedly agree to terms with a pass rusher, but a little surprising that it was Randy Gregory because earlier Tuesday there were reports he was headed back to Dallas, and so we thought, okay, maybe you're moving on to Chandler Jones, Von Miller, someone like that. But instead, we then find out that Randy Gregory has changed his mind, reportedly heading to Denver. And Phil, he will now pair with Bradley Chubb on the opposite side of this pass rush and form another formidable pass rush duo in the AFC West.
We heard George Paton talk a lot this offseason that pass rusher was going to be a major priority. What kind of player are the Broncos getting here in Randy Gregory? Because he had some suspension problems earlier in his career, but last year had quite the season on a 1-year deal with the Cowboys, 6 sacks. More than that, though, Aric, made some of those game-changing plays and some forced fumbles.
Yeah, you mentioned the suspensions. Those we think are behind him. There's some injury concerns maybe. So you hope if he can stay healthy that he can be a dynamic player, really use that potential and help the Broncos, like you mentioned, make those game-changing plays. Because while the sack numbers for him, 6 last season, aren't necessarily spectacular, he did have 3 forced fumbles, 8 forced fumbles over the last 3 seasons. And when you look at his pass rush numbers in terms of pressures, quarterback hits, those forced fumbles we mentioned, those rank among the top in the league. So it's not just about sacks when you're talking about a pass rusher. And Phil, we got to be honest, we're so used to, you see Super Bowl 50 highlights, you think of Von Miller strip sacking Cam Newton. We haven't seen those sort of forced fumbles from pass rushers the last few years. Hopefully Randy Gregory can bring that to Denver.
And maybe he's the kind of player who blossoms a little bit later into his career here, and who knows what's possible playing alongside Bradley Chubb. You mentioned Von Miller's name there. Does that mean the Broncos are out of the running here for a guy like him?
Well, like you mentioned, it's never official until the pen hits the paper. Wednesday, 2 p.m., that's when we can expect this deal to become official. So who knows what happens? Maybe he changes his mind again. Hopefully not. But if Randy Gregory indeed heads to Denver, I think that would cancel out any real chance of Von Miller returning. Probably cancels out Chandler Jones as well. So this is the pass rusher they've identified. A lot of reports out there. This is the guy George Paton wanted heading into free agency, but it does probably close the door for now on Von Miller.
No homecoming then for Von Miller, as the Broncos reportedly agreeing to a deal here with Randy Gregory. Not the only move that the Broncos have made during this legal tampering period, also reportedly bringing in DJ Jones from the 49ers.
Yeah, and I like this move, Phil. Reportedly a 3-year deal for Jones. He's a guy that's going to help shore up the interior of your defensive line. And of course, big guy. We saw some issues last year for the Broncos. That 4-minute drill, teams would just kind of run the ball right at them. The Broncos couldn't get stops. You think of games against the Raiders, against the Browns, a couple other examples probably there as well. This is a guy that can help you get off the field and, give you a chance to get the ball back to your quarterback, give the offense a chance to go down the field to score. He might not put up the sack numbers that Randy Gregory will. He's not necessarily kind of that pass rush artist, but he's a guy that you need on your team. You need this type of player to be able to survive in the NFL these days.
And more than that, off the field, barbecue guy.
That's right, Phil. That's what's really important.
That's what's important here.
His dad created a barbecue sauce line. DJ Jones is on the label of a couple of different of these bottles. I'm excited to get to try it out. That's the real addition here, I think.
So it's his barbecue sauce then, huh?
His family's barbecue sauce. Yeah,
Got
he's
it.
on the label. His line of barbecue sauce, the DJ Jones sauce.
DJ Jones.
You think it's spicy? You think it's hot, sweet?
Maybe some of that North Carolina mustardy?
Yo.
What do you think?
I think it vinegar
looks like
based?
some spicy. Yeah, I think it looks spicy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Excited to try it out.
We'll have to try it out. Maybe he'll bring some.
Maybe he will.
Aric, do you think the Broncos are done here? These are the 2 first moves that we've heard about, but obviously some other positions of need that George Paton might be looking at.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, DJ Jones is not a guy that I would have told you his name before heading into free agency, even though he was the 28th best free agent on some list coming into this week. But there are positions you still need to address, whether it's inside linebacker, cornerback, safety, a reserve tight end, reserve quarterback, right tackle, of course. But who knows with George Paton if that's going to be another splash signing in free agency, if he's going to make maybe some depth signings as we continue to go along here into the second and third wave of free agency, or if that comes in the draft. But, Phil, looking at the moves that George Paton has made this year, he's put this team in position to compete, and even in a loaded AFC West, Broncos seem ready to go.
This division is getting out of control.
It's crazy.
I mean, you just got to keep up with the rest of the league, or the rest of the division here, and the Broncos trying to do that here, bringing in Randy Gregory, according to reports, and also DJ Jones. None of this becomes official until Wednesday at 2 p.m. Who knows? There might be some more moves before then. That's going to do it for us. For Aric, DiLalla, I'm Phil Milani.